Welcome to Club Nurse. I'm Colton Lord, your host. By you being here today, it shows me that you are someone who wants to learn, grow, laugh, connect, and just let your emotions flow. We are here to share real stories and hear real life experiences from real people. You are not alone in this, and Club Nurse is here to show you that. Don't forget to follow the show and share today's episode with someone you love. Now, let's dive into today's conversation. Welcome back to Club Nurse, everybody. My name is Colton Lord, your host of this podcast. Thank you for being here today. Last week, we did skip the nurse news, so there was not a segment last week. So I do thank you for coming back this week to listen. And we've got some things to cover. Not like a whole lot to really go in depth with, but some pretty cool and exciting news this week. I think in nursing and healthcare and just in the world in general, news can feel really heavy. I think it has a negative connotation when you think about the news and you think about the big names like Fox and CNN and MSNBC and just these networks that, although they're doing their job, they're delivering the news. It's just a lot. It's heavy. And unfortunately, negative news just gets more traction. It gets more clicks. It gets more people's attention. Because I don't know if that's just the design of our brains, but for whatever reason, I'm sure there's a scientific reason for this, we pay attention to the bad news. And it's probably because it's danger and somewhere in our primitive brains we're like, we need to pay attention to this. This is important for our safety. And to some extent, that's true. But I think we need to also focus on the really good news. So first off, before I get to the good news, let's talk about this week's episode. Every Wednesday, we do have a full-length episode on the Club Nurse podcast, and you can stream that on Nurse.org/clubnurse, or you can go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts to stream the podcast episodes. And this week, I'm sitting down with myself for a solo episode talking about remote nursing. What is it to work from home? What are the pros and cons? Why is everybody wanting to do it? And how do you find a remote nursing job? How do you get these jobs whenever you get on these websites like Glassdoor and Indeed and you search for it? You know this if you've ever done it. When you get on there and you search, you get inundated with so many, hundreds to thousands of job openings, and you may apply for some of them and never hear back. And that's because if you think about it, how many people are searching for those jobs? There's a lot of them. And so I give you some tips and tricks, some insights, and some of my personal reflections on what it's like to work from home. And in the episode, I will give you the 411 on where to find these jobs. Because the biggest mistake that I have found that nurses are doing are just typing in remote nursing jobs. There's other ways to do this. Sometimes you have to know the titles of the jobs you're looking for in order to find them. And maybe the remote part will be in the job description, but these good quality jobs, a lot of the times they're not putting remote nursing as the job title. So when you're searching them, you're going to get these very basic and generic jobs listings coming back to you with thousands of applicants. So it's harder to get them, and they're usually lower pay because they can get candidates who are looking for just that remote work. So they'll take lower pay. So in that episode, I give you resources and wonderful ways to find those jobs that you're looking for. So I highly recommend listening to Wednesday's episode. I don't know when you'll be listening to this. So that episode will be released on Wednesday, September 17th. And again, you can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Nurse.org/clubnurse. Okay, let's dive into the news this week. Really, the biggest news, what I want to really focus on are, let's talk about the Emmys. And I'm gonna admit, and this may offend some of you, I have never watched The Pitt, okay? I know. Come for me. I'm not huge into medical shows. I think when I was in nursing school, I did used to watch things, and I don't know, I don't get as annoyed by if the accuracy isn't totally there in a show, it's a little funny and humorous, when you watch something, and from a medical perspective, you're like, that's so wrong. That is not how that would work. But I think for me, it's mostly, when I'm off work and I'm not in the hospital, I just don't want to think about it. I don't want to dive into a show where I'm having to be in that mindset, I guess, of work. I don't know. I think it's just the where I'm at in my career and my life. I just don't have the capacity for it. Maybe I understand. I have heard the amazingness, the accuracy, the realism of this show, The Pitt. I applaud them. They obviously are doing really amazing work and spreading awareness about emergency medicine. And further, if so, I'm not sure if it's only focusing on the emergency room or if they kind of branch out, but I applaud them. I thank them. and that we actually have a show that represents the healthcare community and specifically the ER, which is where my background mostly lies. So I wanted to talk about them and sweeping the Emmys this week. Are you serious? So I'm going to start this first with Katherine LaNasa. And oh my gosh, again, I'm so sorry with the names. I hope I said this right. Katherine LaNasa makes Emmy history. So she is the charge nurse on the Pitt. And she took home the trophy for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series at the 77th Primetime Emmy Awards. After her win, she thanked nurses, quote, "Thank you so much for all you do. This is a love letter to you. What you do matters, and sending love and thank you." And you know what? I appreciate that, especially this coming from Hollywood. This is a big deal for nurses. And, I think that a lot of nurses are just so used to just getting, these sideways appreciation things like, oh, here's a pizza party or here's a nice pen or a water bottle with our hospital stamped on it. And it's like, so a lot of the times these thank yous feel hollow and it's just like whatever. But this really does feel genuine. Like these actresses, actors, and producers, and anybody who makes these shows possible, like for them to do this kind of work and to make it accurate and to make nurses feel seen and represented in Hollywood, especially, it is huge. I'm here for it. And I am so glad that they swept the Emmys. I just think if you think about all the medical shows that have been out there and how many that they have created, like for one to come to surface in 2020, well, I don't know when it came out, almost in 2025, but I'm not sure when the Pit started. It's amazing. That's a huge feat. So congratulations to Katherine LaNasa, and thank you so much for representing charge nurses all around in emergency departments as charge nurse Dana Evans. We love you. And P.S. I think I'm going to have to watch The Pit, okay? Let's keep talking about this. So Noah Wyle wins Emmy in a Figs tux, which is awesome. I did see this on TikTok today. I was flying back to Boston from Tennessee. I was down there visiting my sister, and I was kind of scrolling through TikTok, and I saw that the tux that Noah Wyle was wearing was made by Figs, which is like really just like a full circle moment for them. Like how cool to show up in a company who makes scrubs for so many healthcare workers. Like we all know Figs, everybody's wearing them. So for him to show up in a tux made by them, I thought that was really, really awesome. And I also didn't realize that Noah Wyle played let me make sure I'm not mistaken here. His last Emmy nomination was 26 years ago for his work as Dr. John Carter on ER. And so for him to get this accolade and win an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series for his role as Dr. Oh my gosh, Robinovich? Robbie. Let's just call him Dr. Robbie in The Pit. I mean, amazing, like so amazing. And honestly, I watched part of his speech, and the end of it really, really tickled me. He said, "To anybody who's going on shift tonight or coming off shift tonight, thank you for being in that job." Like, oh my gosh, like the way that they just like sent their hearts out to the healthcare community, it's just so fabulous. So Figs co-CEO Trina Spear said, "Tonight, Noah is proving that the healthcare community deserves a seat at every table, including television's biggest night. By honoring healthcare workers, Noah's commitment to authentically representing these extraordinary individuals on the red carpet embodies everything Figs stands for. We are honored to create this one-of-a-kind piece that celebrates all healthcare workers off the screen. We thank Noah for championing healthcare workers and their stories through his art." And that's true. It's what it is. It's art. They just put it all out there. I've got to watch this show. I've got to get on it. But just so cool. Like so cool that just after everything nurses have been through just forever, but specifically after, the pandemic and just all the things that are happening in the world, it's so great for nurses to be recognized. So thank you to everyone at the Pit, Noah Wyle, and to Katherine LaNasa. And I'm so sorry. I really hope I'm saying your name right, Queen, because you look like a queen slaying in that dress, girl. Okay, so that really was the main news that I wanted to focus on this week. There are many other articles that we've published on Nurse.org. I highly recommend you go check them out. We keep you up to date on what is happening. Nurse.org/news, and that is where you find all the news that you need. It's all there in writing. There's so many articles you can go through on what you're interested in. All the podcast episodes will be posted there as well. So go check it out. And just to round out this nurses news, let's chat about this last one I wanted to talk about, which is Brown University, which is in Rhode Island, is changing nurses' schedules, specifically the per diem, and some nurses who are full time working 8-hour shifts. So I know like the title of the article may not seem too out there or crazy because it just says from 8 to 12 hour shifts. And so your brain might be like, well, I mean, who cares? That's what we do. And most nurses do like that. And the answer is yes. I mean, I think there are studies and things out there that are really not great news for 12-hour shifts because I think after a certain amount of time, like our brains get really fatigued and like the quality of work just goes down. I mean, after a certain amount of hours, like hello, our brains are not meant for that. But I mean, I love a 12-hour shift because I don't want to work 5 days a week. So hello, I will work 12-hour shifts forever if I can. Anyway, the article basically is coming out. Nurses at Brown University are upset about this because they're basically eliminating the need for any like 4-hour increment shifts or 8-hour shifts. And that, to me, that's huge. Like, do you know how often I would pick up a 4 or 8 hour shift just to get some hours in? How about the department? A lot of people don't want to work a full 12 hours, especially if it's extra time. And this even eliminates nurses being able to do 16-hour shifts, which in your head might be like, well, that's probably a good thing. But sometimes you need the money or the department's short. And if you don't work the next day, it's like, hey, I'll tack on an extra 4. I'll stay 16 hours, help out, whatever. But this is eliminating that. And basically, what the hospital is saying is that they understand that basically, while we understand this represents a significant change for some of our nursing team members, we believe standardizing to 12-hour shifts for this portion of our workforce will ultimately create more consistency in patient care. Whatever. That is such garbage. That is not why. It literally is to save costs as always, because there will be less people picking up these extra shifts and having to pay them differentials and things like that. So I don't buy it. I don't think that that's why. They don't care if the patients are getting consistent care, especially in the ER. Even during 12-hour shifts, they're still not getting consistent care. Like the way departments ERs work, like there's always shifts and things going on in the department I don't buy that at all. So my heart goes out to these Brown University nurses. I know that that's a big deal for you, and I am so sorry. Hopefully some change can come from this. All right, and that really wraps up our nurse news this week. Like I said, I really wanted to just give the attention to the Emmys because what an amazing thing for the community. If you liked this episode, please like, follow, subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or keep coming back to the website, Nurse.org/club nurse. A lot of these podcasts are embedded in the articles that you're reading. So if that's where you're watching these, great, or listening, we appreciate you. Keep coming back. We love doing this show for you. And don't forget to catch this week's episode of Club Nurse, talking all about remote nursing, how to find it, and the pros and cons, and everything you need to know about working from home. Again, my name's Colton. You can follow me on Instagram at Nurse Colton or at Colton Allen Lord, on TikTok at Nurse Colton. Thank you so much for being here. Love you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Bye. From the bottom of my heart, I wanted to thank you for being here at Club Nurse. I hope you gained something valuable from today's episode. And if you did, remember to share this episode with someone that you love. Follow me on socials at Nurse Daddies or Colton Lord 17, and be sure to follow Nurse.org to stay informed with all of the hottest healthcare topics. Until next time, take care of yourself the way you take care of everyone else. Love ya. Bye.